Alright, camera's rolling. Alright, hold up. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy HipHopGamer. I don't normally do, podcasts with just audio, but I like to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Because the body got a language, you know what I'm saying, that the tongue don't speak. You know what I'm saying? I keep it 100 with everything I do. But, given the situation, here's the scenario. I basically put out a video saying, I don't think the we can bounce back from the situation that they're in, and especially after leaving the E3 press conference. They're going to be there, but the big press conference, they're not going to have one. That right there speaks volumes. So my man, what is it, Dr. Trey?
Dr. Trey.
My man, Dr. Trey, he went against me and had his own thoughts and feelings about it. So, real gamers, we talk it out. There's much love and respect between one another. And we about to get it in, and fans been listening in, and this is going to be real interesting. So just listen to both parts. We're going to give each other respect and let each person talk it out so the fans can listen to each side of the story. Y'all make y'all judgment, and then we'll see what happens, at the end of the year with the systems. All right, so, Dr. Trey, check this out. So you had to kind of explain your side of things and, what made you even respond to the video I put out and share your thoughts.
Well, first, when you said that Nintendo wasn't having a big press conference at E3 and that meant that they were scared to present or that they had nothing to show, I completely disagree with that because there's plenty there for Nintendo to show. I think the real reason why they weren't having a big press conference, if they're even really not going to have one, is because the E3 press conference really isn't as important as it was in the past. There are several other conferences that are almost as important as E3. And even E3 conferences have backfired on a ton of companies, such as Sony. I mean, look at the infamous, the E3 2006? That almost buried the PlayStation 3. Like, E3 press conferences, they're good for us gamers because we get hyped up. But in actuality, most of them don't really benefit the companies too much. I mean, even if you look at most of the E3 press conferences from this past generation, not too many of them were that good. Most of them were disappointing. So that's why I think Nintendo has plenty to show at E3. Them not having a press conference, a big press conference, has nothing to do with their lineup and it really has nothing to do with Sony or Microsoft. It's just a choice that they made.
Okay. Now, you done with that? What you had to say with that so I can speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now the first thing that you mentioned was that E3 conference isn't as important as it used to be, but that's absolutely wrong. I'm going to tell you why it's absolutely wrong. There's a reason why every year E3 is held. The reason why is because of the people in the eyes that are in attendance and that are watching. See, throughout the entire year, in terms of game news coverage, it's usually covered by game sites and game sites only. You know what I'm saying? So when E3 comes, that's when you got CNN. That's when you got CBS. That's when you got Fox. That's when you got NBC. That's when you have the entire world watching what the game industry does. And that happens normally once a year when E3 comes around. The reason why is because that's when all companies that's looking to invest in something, they look at on E3. Similar to CES when it comes to electronics and things of that nature. So there's always one major event throughout the entire industry where other industries pay attention to this industry. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important and it always will be important. And that's why so many companies invest money into making sure they got a big presence at E3 simply because of the world watching what you have. That's why you got companies, like a EA or Activision and the overall game industry being bigger than music and being bigger than movies because have turns to show. Now the thing is, the reason why I disagree with that is because if a company have turns to show, then it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. If you got a lot to show, then you're gonna show it and you're not gonna just show it to your loyal fans, because your loyal fans already bought in to your console. So you don't have nothing to prove to them anymore because they already bought in the console. You gotta prove to the people that didn't buy into your console and give them reason why to buy into your console. That's why when you say you have turns to show and you pull out of the big event that can help expand your business that's not doing as good as you wanted it to do, obviously you don't have enough to show in comparison to what the competition has. Also, what you have to show is a lot of stuff that people know about, which is the next Zelda that's coming, which is the Mario Kart Wii U. Bayonetta 2 has already been confirmed and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that they don't have any surprises, but in their own mind, from a business standpoint, you know what I'm saying? They've been at E3 for decades. And for them to pull out now is obviously a sign that, hey, you know, it's smart and it's risky. Meaning it's smart to not be there if you know really well you don't have enough to show, because then all these people is going to assassinate the fact that Nintendo didn't have anything in comparison to PlayStation and Xbox. The reason why I say that is because perception is reality to a lot of people. You see what I'm saying? And the perception is going to be like, damn, Nintendo got the ass whipped on a big stage. And they don't want that. So instead of putting themselves in that particular position, because they're probably not prepared and they feel that way, let's just focus on the people that already brought into the system, and we still going to be at E3 in some sort of fashion. So let's do it on a scale where, you know, they look at us for what we got only, instead of trying to assassinate us on a big stage in comparison to others. So I think that was smart, but it also proves that they probably don't have a lot to show that they would have liked to have. And another reason why is because if a lot of third parties is not supporting your system as well, and you gotta rely only on the games that's on your platform only, then a lot of times the immediate people that already brought into it is going to be more excited about that as opposed to the overall industry ahead. The next thing I want to say is in 2006, you said they almost killed Sony. So I'm going to say two things to that. The fact that you said that it almost killed Sony is kind of proof of how important E3 is, when you recently said E3 may not have is as important as it used to be. But obviously it must be important if you feel that it almost killed Sony. So that's kind of a contradiction right there on your part, in my opinion. But then in terms of 2006, when Sony did their thing, you also got to keep in mind that in 2005 was when they showed that Killzone trailer. And even though it looked good, it didn't hit the target window, but it looked really, really good. People were still excited about that because it looked better than the competition. So at least they had that under their belt. But in 2006, when they actually launched and stuff like that, they had Resistance, 30-player online, first for a console. So they did have some sort of success there. But E3 is always going to be important because it takes everything the game industry does and magnifies it times 20 for other industries to see. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, so responding to all of that. Okay, now when I said that E3 isn't as important as it used to be, I mean currently, right now. This is 2013. E3's 2006 almost put a big damper on the PS3, but that was in 2006. That was 7 years ago. That was in the past when E3 was way more important than it is now. Now we have things that are big, just as big, like PAX, and well, not as big, but almost like PAX and CES and all of that stuff. There's a bunch of there's even a freaking game stop conference now. There's conferences almost every couple of months now. Now, You were saying that the reason why E3 is so important is because you think that's the only time where the major press will cover video games. But and people think that the reason, or people think that Nintendo not having a big E3 conference means that the media, the regular media outside of video games, won't cover Nintendo stuff. But people are forgetting that E3 was online only for years until a few years ago, before they even showed these things on TV. And then you have with the mainstream media, they're going to cover it regardless. I've seen over the last couple weeks, mainstream media, not video game media, but mainstream media, the NBCs and stuff like that, that did reports on their websites just from the freaking update that they had for the Wii U to make it faster. So if you think they're not going to cover a huge Nintendo Direct, like, you got it wrong. They're going to cover this whatever they have at E3, and they're still going to have a pretty big presence at E3. They're just not going to have this huge conference, supposedly. And I say supposedly because even though Nintendo claims they're not going to have this big conference, they still rented out the Nokia Theater this year. Now, the Nokia Theater is where they've had their big E3 press conference for the last like 3 years. So just because they don't have this huge press conference, televised press conference, doesn't mean they're not going to have a huge showing at E3. And you said that you think that the reason them backing out, so to speak, of having this huge press conference because they have nothing, no titles to match up to what Sony and Microsoft were showing, that's completely false. They have plenty of titles that go toe-to-toe with whatever Sony or Microsoft will show. Like I said, even the announced games are announced already. That Mario game that they pretty much are confirming that's going to be now out by this October. They have the new game from Retro Studios. They're going to be showing Smash Brothers. They're going to be showing Mario Kart, which is the sequel to Mario Kart, which Mario Kart sold more copies of games on one system than any game this entire generation. These games, they have the games to match up. It's them not presenting at E3 has nothing to do with them not having enough to show. They're just taking a different path. And I bet you a lot of these other companies are going to follow. They already said, oh, who is it? Valve is not going to be at E3, not going to have a booth at E3. 2K is not going to have a booth at E3. Now, you say that games and companies, they need these big E3 venues that are televised and all this stuff to make an impact. But I bring you to the game that you just did a video hyping up, Grand Theft Auto 5. When is Rockstar at E3? Rockstar doesn't even attend E3, yet their games sell like gangbusters because they don't need a press conference for that game. They don't need a E3 booth for that game, and Nintendo's even having a booth at E3.
Can I interject real quick?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why a company like Rockstar or a company like 2K or whatever, like they don't have to have like these conferences because two reasons. Like one, they're not console manufacturers like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are. See, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, they console manufacturers. So not only are they trying to sell you games, but they're trying to sell you their platform. They're trying to sell you their services. So it's completely different from a Rockstar that just makes like a few major games. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why Ubisoft and EA have conferences themselves is because these are the biggest publishers in the industry, and they got so much to show because they're such big publishers that in their position from a financial standpoint and from a productive standpoint, you know what I'm saying, they decide to show their stuff because they're a big enough company to do so, and they got that variety to support it. You see what I'm saying? Now, with Nintendo, it's like I said, I truly feel that in decades, they never ever backed out of E3. Now right? Like if you own Nintendo, and you know very well that your company thrives on publicity. So people could see everything that you guys do. The more people that see your stuff, the more people that's gonna be aware of it. You know what I'm saying? And the more people are aware of your stuff, the more people will have an opportunity to buy it because they know about it. So you as a businessman, as a business owner of Nintendo, whatever, when you refuse being on a stage where everybody is looking to see what you got, knowing that your business is built on people looking at what you got so you can make a sale. I'm just asking you that question.
Well, speaking with Nintendo, to tell you the truth, their advertisement for years has been pretty much garbage. Their systems have done well due to hands-on and word of mouth, actual hands-on play. Their commercials, their advertising has been abysmal for decades. I'd say, especially during the GameCube era. I guess the Wii commercials did well, even though I thought they were terrible. The Wii Would Like to Play, that crap was garbage, I think. But they managed to do well despite the fact, but it was more of the hands-on interaction than any real E3 push. I mean, the E3 that they had in 2006 was amazing, but all of the other conferences outside of 2010 were terrible, and some of them actually kind of backfired on Nintendo. For instance, when they were on E3, when they were showing Skyward Sword and all the photography was messing up the Wii Motion Plus, it made Zelda look worse than it was. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo took that in consideration when they decided not to have a big E3 conference this year, if they're really not even having one. E3, I mean, E3 is more bigger for us core gamers than anyone else. We get excited because it's that one day, one week or whatever of the year where we see all of the new titles and stuff that's coming out. But the majority of this stuff is still going to be reported by the same media. These Nintendo Directs that people claim nobody really watches, all of that stuff gets reported by the media. That they didn't even do a Nintendo Direct saying that they weren't going to have an E3 press conference. It was from a financial report, a stockholder report, yet it's all over the internet. They didn't get on TV and say anything about that, but that's all everyone is talking about. They're talking more about Nintendo not having a conference than they're talking about Microsoft's upcoming conference.
Okay. So, that leads me to my next question. I noticed that when we were talking about games just now, we were talking about Mario, Mario Kart, and how much it sold and stuff like that. It appears to me like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people said the same thing that I said, and I just want to see if you agree or what your thoughts are on it. But to me, I feel that Nintendo still has that 80s, 90s mentality. And the reason I say that is because every time I have a discussion with people and we talk about the new games coming out with Nintendo, it's like, Mario's always mentioned, Zelda's always mentioned. And I'm not saying you don't mention it because that's their franchises, but to me, I feel like everything that, we got older since the 80s, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these newcomers to the game industry is going crazy over Call of Duty, Battlefield, newer games, as well as Mario, but now it's not just Mario that people are looking at, they're looking at other things, because a lot of people grew up. So, to me, I feel, and this goes to any company, but to me, I feel that Nintendo is relying too much on Mario and too much on Zelda instead of creating brand new games and how can I say, what's the word I'm looking for? Reinventing themselves as a brand. You know what I'm saying? What is the next Mario? When I mean the next Mario, I don't mean the next Mario like that. I mean, what is the next big IP to make Nintendo set them apart from the competition. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's long overdue. You know what I mean? So as a gamer, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know how you felt about that, because to me, with PlayStation, I think PlayStation is genius in terms of their new IPs. Like, and for PlayStation 3 generation alone, there's 8 to 9 brand new games that's exclusive to that system that we've never seen before. You see what I'm saying? Ever. And that's just on the PlayStation 3 generation alone. That right there, to me, I feel exclusives is what set your system apart, because that means that there's companies specifically designing games for this product to show it off in its best light. You know what I'm saying? And I feel Nintendo, you know, has been lacking severely for years in that area, and I feel it's starting to catch up with them. That's why the Wii U didn't jump off as fast as it could have, especially with the fact that the Wii U is comparable to PSP or 360, which came out in 05 and 06. Like, you know what I mean? So that's my stance on that. So as a gamer, do you want to see more out of Nintendo from a brand new development standpoint when it comes to games, amongst other things?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, I would like to see, of course, more new Nintendo IPs. I mean, more of a good thing is usually always better. But what I would like to bring up is the fact that you said Nintendo. You wish Nintendo was a little more like Sony in that they have new IPs every generation. Now, problem with that is the real reason why Sony has all of these new IPs every generation is because they don't have IPs that are successful as Mario, successful as Zelda, successful as Mario Kart. Trust me, Sony, if they could come up with IPs that continue to sell every generation, they would be using the same IPs. The problem with the Sony IPs is they start off strong and then they start fading away. The only Sony IP that's still around from the beginning was Gran Turismo. All of these other ones, they dumped them after a few games. And it's not because they're being super creative, it's because they're trying to look for their Mario. Look how many mascots that Sony has gone through. Remember a few years ago they said, Sackboy is going to be the next Mario. He's going to be the face of PlayStation. What happened with that? Then Kratos was supposed to be the face. Everybody's the face. And these new Sony IPs, for the most part, aren't even really Sony IPs. These are IPs that are made from actually third-party developers that they swallowed whole, just like Microsoft did with Bungie. Halo was originally supposed to be made for the Mac. They saw these games already in development, and they swallowed them whole and made them Sony first party. Hardly any of these so-called first-party games are really first party. And you said there's been no new Nintendo IPs, but there have. There's been Xenoblade, there's been The Last Story, there's been Pandora's Tower, and that's just been in the last 2 years.
Okay, is my go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now in the field of creativity, you're supposed to consistently be creative. So when you're doing a video game development, it's all about being creative. Now, to me, I feel that you have people that are creative and take risks, and you got people that play it safe and don't want to create that much at all. They just take the same thing that's been successful and continue to rehash it. So to me, with Sony, like, I can count on my, when you said first party, Sony Santa Monica, that's first party. It's not like that. Peripherally Digital, that's first party. Naughty Dog, that's not a multi-platform developer. Sony owns it. Anything that Sony owns is first party for their product. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you look at Insomniac, it's like that. Sony never owned Insomniac. That's why it was never first party. You feel me? They had exclusive deals, but it was never first party because Sony never owned Insomniac. Anything that Sony owns, or any company that Sony owns, that's first party. And Sony bought a lot of companies because of how good they were. So once they go under the Sony umbrella, or once they buy the IP and they own the IP, that's first party. So Microsoft, like just like how he knows on Microsoft, it's a first party title simply because they own the IP. You see what I'm saying? So it's still a first party title because you will only see it there, and that's what makes it first party because it's exclusive. Now, so I wanted to make that point. Now, in terms of going forward with Sony and being creative, now the problem I think with people is that God of War could sell 4 million copies, which I believe, God of War Ascension sold like 1.1 million so far. But if you have one game, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm asking you this question as a consumer, right? Let's say you got the choice of Nintendo and Sony, right? But let's say Nintendo comes out with Mario, and Mario sells 30 million copies. And then Sony comes out, and they got like 10 games, all exclusive, and they sell like 2 to 3 million each. Now, a person would be like, oh, well, Sony exclusives aren't successful. No, they very are successful. They very much are successful because they sell a million plus. So they very much is successful. It may not be as successful as a Mario game, but the fact that as a consumer you got a wider variety of games, a higher quality of games, and and stability within these games, which creates franchises out of these games. As a consumer, would you rather buy a system that has one game that sells a lot, that sells a whole bunch, or would you have a system that got multiple games that sell, great enough for these franchises, but you got all this diversity and stuff like that? As a consumer, I'm just asking.
But see, the problem. I'm
asking the question.
No, I'm going to answer.
Okay.
See, with that question though, you're making it sound like the only game on the Nintendo worth playing is Mario. And then you said that the other games are higher quality than the Nintendo games, but if you look at the reviews, they say another story. Mario Galaxy 1, Mario Galaxy 2 are what? Look, number 2 and 3 on the top rated games of all time. So you can't say they're not up to the quality. They actually exceeded. I mean, I guess maybe you're talking about HD graphics, but if we want to get into a graphics discussion, that's something different entirely.
Okay, you still didn't answer the question.
No, but are you saying that the only game we're playing on Nintendo systems is Mario?
No, what I'm saying is Mario, like Mario Kart, I think so 30 million copies. Mm-hmm. So my analogy was, and my own battery about to die too. We were 29 minutes in, my battery about to die, but we can finish it up. You're recording on your end, so it's true. But what I'm saying is because of the analogy you said in terms of Sony has to be more creative because their IPs don't sell as much as Nintendo IPs. Well, I said, Mario sold 30 million copies, but that's one game. And my thing is, there's no other games that's selling like that on Nintendo. Like, we got that. It's Mario branded. But if you look at Sony, you got a whole wide variety of games. And there was recently a story on Heavy Rain on how a game sold, I think, 500,000 or a million. I think that sold 1 million copies. And they doubled their profit, and they're making Beyond Two Souls and all this other stuff. It's like it's crazy. So they're all profiting, and they're making money, and they're making money in a lot more areas. And to me, that lets me know from a talent standpoint, Sony got way more talented developers, and that's another reason why I say higher in quality because they go out of their comfort zone. to create things that you never seen before. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important when it comes to game development and creativity, and not just staying in a box or playing it safe. You know what I'm saying? And we all know Mario's going to dominate. We all know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not anything new. I got one of the every Mario game that ever came out in existence and played them all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a gamer too. Like, I know that. You know, it's a given.
Yeah, but the Mario games aren't the only games that sell in the millions on Nintendo systems. The Star Fox is sold in the millions. The Metroid games sell in the millions. Zelda sell in the millions. It's not just Mario.
It's the games that was born back in the 80s and the 90s. In 2013. Show me.
Okay.
You can still about to see.
Okay. I think I got you right there, because you said the problem with this is that these IPs are from the 90s and the 80s, right?
No, I'm not saying that's a problem. What I'm saying is that I don't feel that Nintendo should only live off of things that they created back in the 80s and 90s. I feel that as well as you have those old titles, still continue to bring them out, but don't forget to keep creating brand new things that we've never seen on a regular basis too. Because to me, I feel like you just shortchanging your audience and shortchanging your own creativity. That's what I'm saying.
So do you think Kojima is shortchanging the gaming community and his fans because he's still making Metal Gear, and Metal Gear started on the NES?
Well, I think he's shortchanging his fans and stuff like that because he's not creating anything new.
Yeah, because that's pretty much all he, besides a random zone of enders, that's all he's created since the 80s.
Well, in a way, yeah. And he said it himself, though. You know what I'm saying? In a way, yeah, because he said it himself that he wants to make, brand new games and stuff like that. But you gotta understand, in terms of Hideo Kojima is one person with a team, and there's such a high demand for Metal Gear in the story, and he keeps continuing with it, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Metal Gear branch out with writing recently. So that's a good thing from Platinum Games, utilizing the Metal Gear brand. That's great and stuff like that. But Hideo Kojima is a developer with a team. Nintendo is a conglomerate, a manufacturer, and they are in a position to continue to create brand new things because it's not just one person they're relying on. They got a slew of people and a slew of developers that will allow them to create a lot more games than what they're doing. See, Nintendo chooses to just do that. You know what I'm saying? But in general, to me, I feel like I feel you should make other games too. And he did that. You know, he did Metal Gear. He did Zone of the Enders. You know what I'm saying? He got Metal Gear Rising. So there is branch offs here and there. But we all know Metal Gear Solid Snake is his bread and butter, and he sticks to that.
But Metal Gear Rising, that's still another Metal Gear game. And you say that he said that he wants to create new games and stuff, but Miyamoto, the creator of Zelda, Mario, and stuff like that, he said the same things. They're very alike. It's just one happens to make games for Nintendo, and the other is known for making games more recently, anyway, for Sony products. But it's the same thing.
And that goes to my point with Sony. Sony, and this is what I love about Sony, but you got Resistance, you got Killzone, you got Heavy Rain, you got The Last of Us, you got Uncharted, you got Little Big Planet, you know what I'm saying? You got
but those are
you got Motorstorm. Like, to me, I feel like any system that's giving you that high quality and a wide variety and still sell, that's incredible to me. You know what I'm saying? And when you know, like, you're a big fan of Nintendo. We all big fans of Nintendo. When you know that Nintendo's talent is so huge, and they just consistently settle for just this, then, I mean...
But what do you mean, just this? They put out some of the best first-party games on the Wii that they ever made.
Which was what?
What do you mean, like Metroid Prime 3?
Exactly.
Mario Galaxy. What? Wait, but see, then we're going back to that again. So what's wrong with Metroid? What's wrong with Mario? Just because they came out in the 80s?
What's wrong with Metroid and Mario? What, to me, I give you an example. I'll give you an example. The analogy that I use with PS3. On PS3, that one console gave birth to like 8 new IPs 9 new IPs that we never ever seen before in the industry. Like, to me, that is insane. That's crazy. So there's nothing wrong with Gran Turismo. There's nothing wrong with Twisted Metal. But it's good to see Last of Us go. It's good to see Heavy Rain. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the new experiences. That's what gaming and creativity is all about. Being creative and showing off new experiences that the system can do. Now, I'll give you an example with the Wii U, right? The Wii U, the way that's designed to be like maybe like a 3DS because of the second screen before your home console. There's so much cool stuff you can do with that gamepad that this year's E3, I would love to see a game not dealing with Mario or Yoshi or Metroid or anything. I want to see something completely brand new that nobody never seen or never heard before, utilizing Nintendo's handheld, utilizing Nintendo's gamepad in a way that we just never seen. Because to me, I think that's what makes gaming move forward. To show things that was never done before.
So,
do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, but what makes you think they won't show something like that at E3?
I didn't say they won't. I didn't say they won't show anything like that. What I'm saying is, if you pull out of being on a certain stage, then to me, you either don't got enough confidence in what you got to show, or you know all the media attention is going to be on your rivals because of what they're coming with this year, that if I didn't even make sense for you to do that. I'm not saying you don't have anything, I'm just trying to gauge the logic on them coming out, because if you really think about it, and you said this yourself, Nintendo haven't had like the greatest of conferences at E3 in past years.
Oh, I wasn't just talking Nintendo. I'm talking all three of the big three. Like, most of the press conferences during this generation were disappointing on all three.
Okay, but they still come back. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That to me is questionable. But, you know, let's move on though, because we've been on this for a while, so let's move on. Now, what else about the video that I made in terms of the part, I think we can end it with this. So the part where I said that I don't think Nintendo can bounce back, and I'm referring to the fact of how Wii U has been performing coming off the Wii. Now, I don't think that, me personally, I don't think they'll be able to bounce back in terms of getting in a situation where they can outsell a PS3 and a 360 week after week worldwide. I don't think that they can get to that point consistently. So, but what do you say to that in terms of my thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, just look at the 3DS. The same people were saying the same thing about the 3DS. 3DS is a failure, but all it took was for the big games to come out. Wii U does not have these big games out yet. We haven't even seen them yet, but we know that they're going to be coming out this year and beyond. So, I mean, saying that you don't think they could bounce back, even though you haven't seen these titles yet, is jumping the gun. Like, how are you going to say, oh, this system is not going to be able to do such and such without seeing the big games? A lot of people, I mean, you love Sony. Look how many people did that with the PlayStation 3. Look how many people bashed the PS3 for a year and a half. Oh, it has no games. It has no games. And look what happened. It bounced back. Okay.
So, in this particular situation with Nintendo, it's a completely different situation. I'm going to give you an example why. Now, with the Wii U, right, here's the situation that's different from the Sony situation when they came out going up against the Xbox. The Wii U comes out, right? It costs more than PS3 and 360. And when it comes out, 2012 versus systems that came out in 2005 or 2006, the games didn't show no major difference. So, when you look at Batman or Black Ops 2 on the Wii U, it looked the same as what's on 360 and PS3, and in my opinion, the 360 version was still the best one in terms of frame rate. So my thing is, you coming out 5-6 years later, with so-called slightly better technology, and out the gate, you're not showing how much more advanced your system is supposed to be than what you're marketed as. That right there was a major strike. That's one. Two, when the Wii U came out, it's a brand new system. So you would expect that like everything that Nintendo put on the shelf is going to be sold out just because it's a brand new system offering new things and new capabilities, blah, 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 blah. That didn't happen. A lot of people just decided not to get it, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because even when Sony came out with their $600 system, a lot of people couldn't afford it, but it was still, you couldn't keep it in stock though. You couldn't find it. And then after a while, when they were getting more in stock and price became a factor, they dropped the price. Then we went back to the same thing. I gotta have it because it's something new and different and it's showing something that you never seen before. That wasn't the same case with the Wii U. The third thing with the Wii U is with the actual Wii. You know, they sold like 100 million. But the thing is, with the Wii, you know, opening the door to the casuals, what they brought into the Wii, that same audience didn't buy into the Wii U out the gate. Simply because they're casual. They're not hardcore like you and me. So they're not trying to buy the next thing as soon as it come out. They don't really care about it like that. That's why with the Wii, it started out major, and then it started declining heavily. And in terms of the status, in terms of how many people, how many hours is locked in on people using the Wii in comparison to using PlayStation and Xbox, Xbox 360 was the most used console, then PlayStation, then the Wii. So the decline was crazy. Now with Wii U coming out so much later and not showing anything majorly different, it's already a turnoff because you cost more. You're not showing anything majorly different in terms of what I'm looking at, and in terms of the gamepad and the advertising and everything. There's people right now that don't even know what the Wii U is because the advertising has been that bad. Like it's just the way that the Wii U is going about, the way that Nintendo is going about the Wii U right now. It's almost as if that they just relying on the success of the original Wii and the Wii name to take the Wii U to the next level. And that's a big mistake because that's the same mistake Sony made with the PS3 when that first came out. It just thought that their brand name was so strong enough, it was just going to sell off of it. And even though it sold at a rocky ass start. Now, to me, the reason why I ultimately feel that it's not going to bounce back is because the Wii U can't even outsell PS3 and 360 week after week. And if you can't do that right now, when PlayStation 4, the next Xbox drop, it's going to be the next Xbox, it's going to be PlayStation 4, it's going to be PlayStation 3, it's going to be 360, that the Wii U got a face. You're going to have two next generation consoles and two last generation consoles on the market. Those you got four consoles that's consistently being supported. They got better third-party support than you. They got major advancements over your console via exclusive-wise, and you got to go up against all of them when it comes to being a competitor. That right there, I don't see no bouncing back from that, and that's where I stand with that.
Okay, so let me respond to that. Because you said a lot. Let me see if I can remember everything to respond back to.
Down, man.
I know, man. I was like, man, you need a notepad or something, nigga. You need to write this down. Let me see if I can remember.
I'm joking, dog. I take everything you say, and I listen to it thoroughly, and I come up with my questions, man.
Yeah, I should have got a notepad. But anyway, I got a pretty good memory when it comes to these things. So, first of all, you said that one of the reasons the Wii U wasn't selling too well off the gate was because it cost more than the other systems. But
that's what it cost more than other systems. And when you look at the biggest titles like the Black Ops and all that other stuff, it wasn't different from the 360 and PSD version, and the 360 version actually ran the best. And that's sad, considering your system came out in 2012, 360 came out in 2005, and their game was better than yours. And yours, when you're supposed to have better hardware and all this other stuff, and you came out this late.
Okay, so the system's automatically going to cost more than the other systems. It's a new system. There's never been a new system that's come out that's been less than the systems that's already been out. That was a given.
That's a given.
So then you point to the fact that the games don't look too much better than the games from the last generation. But that was the same exact case with the Wii. Most games that came out the first year or so, actually even almost through the entire generation, to be honest, looked like PS2 GameCube games on the Wii, and it didn't seem to hurt the Wii too much. What else did you say? The other point.
Completely different situation, man.
How is that completely different?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because Nintendo Wii, when that wasn't even a high definition system. It was a casual family friendly system, and that's what it was marketed to be. So when the Nintendo Wii came out, it didn't come out to even be able to be compared to a PlayStation 3 or 360. It's just like a boxer. Like, if you look at Floyd Mayweather, right, he's dominant in what he do. So consider Floyd Mayweather as the Nintendo Wii when it first came out. You know what I'm saying? He's dominant, he's doing his thing and stuff like that. But then look at Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. They all in the same sport, but they're not in the same division. Because Mike Tyson can't fight no Floyd Mayweather because they're not in the same weight class. So you can't do it. So my thing is PlayStation 3 and 360, you can compare them to one another. That's why when they make games for 360 and PlayStation 3, it's comparable when you look at them side to side. Why do you think Madden football on the Wii, like the way it did, it didn't even have, it wasn't even 11-11. It wasn't 11 versus 11. Why do you think the Wii got games where you ain't got no arms? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
that wasn't until about 2010. If you played 2007, 8, 9, it was a regular football game. That's when 2010 they thought, oh, we're gonna cater to the casuals. But see, the thing is, at the beginning, the Wii U was not marketed as a casual system. It was marketed as a system for everyone. It was marketed as a system for everyone. As a matter of fact, even if you go back to Nintendo interviews before the system came out, they were saying that it was going to be powerful enough. They were saying that they didn't say, oh, this game system's going to have weak graphics. No, they said it's be powerful enough. They had even Miyamoto saying, oh, I don't see that much of a difference between Zelda Twilight Princess and launch 360 games. That system was not marketed towards casuals. It was marketed towards everyone. Now, with the Wii U, I still don't see how you can look at both the 3DS and the PS3 and see how they were able to bounce back when the good games came out. But you don't think that the Wii U can bounce back when their good games come out. I don't understand.
Hey, I'll tell you exactly why. Okay, Nintendo owns the handheld market. You know what I'm saying? Even though PlayStation came out with PSP and they sold great in terms of over 50 million PSPs out there, but Nintendo dominates the handheld market. You know what I'm saying? So when Nintendo could do anything and make it work, like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to handhelds, because they dominate that particular market. That's one. Prime example, when PlayStation 2 came out and Dreamcast was there, PlayStation, the brand name and their position in the console business is so strong that they can launch a system with fucking Fantavision and still be successful because of how dominant they were in terms of their position in the console business. So Nintendo in the handheld business is like how PS2 was when it first came out at this point. They still dominated. So when the good games come out and all this other stuff, it's going to skyrocket. You know what I'm saying? That's one. Two, when you have the PlayStation 3 and stuff like that. It's PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 3, the Wii, and Xbox 360. Now, the fact that the PlayStation 3 and the Wii came out at the same time, the Wii was much cheaper than the PlayStation 3. A lot of people bought into the Wii and stuff like that. 360 already had a year head start and it was cheaper and stuff like that. What made PlayStation 3 be able to bounce back given their situation and stuff like that, because one, Blu-ray was the next big thing and they won that HD DVD war, so all these companies that's involved in gaming and that's not involved in gaming had to support PlayStation because PlayStation was the biggest driving force of Blu-ray and all these companies invested in it. That's why Best Buy had all these package deals and everything with Sony, and other stuff. So that's one of the reasons why it was able to bounce back, because it had success from elements that didn't deal with the gaming industry. That's one. Two, when Resistance came out and stuff, it was the first time people saw 40-player online with consoles, and online was a big thing because Xbox Live was so successful on Xbox One, and PSN was free, so people brought into that, and it was a brand new game that people really enjoyed coming from Insomniac, so that got a lot of press, and that helped them be able to be successful right out the gate as well. Then, after the price drop came, everybody went crazy because so many people wanted to play this game, they just couldn't afford it. So once the price drop came, that's what really made them bounce back, was the price drop. And then they had the combination of the price drop, new games, and showing off visual quality that started to surpass what the 360 could do from an exclusive standpoint. That's what really took it to the next level.
Well, there you go. There you go.
So that now with the Wii U, now just to bring up the same scenario with the Wii U, right? In terms of games, yeah, we gotta wait for the Zeldas and the Metroids to come and stuff like that. Price drop and all that stuff. That's going to be like the next thing. But the problem that the Wii U faced, that PlayStation 3 and 360 didn't have to face, was the fact that you got PlayStation 4 and the next Xbox coming alongside with the PS3 and 360 still being on the market, still being relevant. So when you got four major people with major money going up against the Wii U by itself, that's a problem. Now, the Wii by itself, the Wii is not even really a factor these days, because ever since the Wii came out, year after year, it was on a decline sales-wise.
Whoa. I gotta stop you there. Because that's not true. As a matter of fact, I believe it was in December of 2010, that was the Wii's biggest year in 2010. It continued to sell more, not less. It didn't start declining. Actually, to tell you the truth, the Wii sales didn't start getting affected until rumors of the Wii U started to come out. It was selling a lot until rumors of the Wii U came out. But one thing I forgot to touch on, you were talking about how even though the PlayStation 3 was a lot of money, it was sold out and it was hard to come by, and it still ended up selling a lot of units. Well, the reason why it sold out is because there wasn't enough supply. And the fact that, well, yeah, it wasn't enough supply, but the Wii U, even with so many left on the shelf, they still sold more than the PS3 and the 360 did in the first 3 months. So even going just the Wii U's just chilling on the shelf for an entire January and February, they still sold more than the 360 and PS3 in their first 3 or 4 months. And that's without any really huge games. Now, watch what happens when the big games come out. I don't know if you, well, I mean, your journal, I'm pretty sure you've seen articles on this, but did you hear that the next 3D Mario might be coming out before this October?
Now, let me ask you this. Be realistic. Please be realistic. Please be realistic when I tell you this. This holiday season, you got the new Call of Duty. You got Battlefield 4. You got Watch Dogs. You got Killzone Shadowfall. You got Grand Theft Auto 5.
Batman.
For that 5 alone, do you really think, in your opinion, do you really think the Wii U is going to dominate or have a big presence this holiday season, knowing that those games is coming out and the majority of those games aren't even coming to the Wii U?
Yes. Because one, like you said, Mario supposedly comes out by this October. That's going to sell a lot. Mario Kart's definitely coming out this year. That's going to sell a lot. Then you mentioned Black Ops. I mean, you mentioned the Call of Duty, which is already going to come, which is coming to the Wii U. The next Batman game is coming to the Wii U. Assassin's Creed 4 is coming to the Wii U. Grand Theft Auto 5 is rumored to come to the Wii U and PC. So, yeah, I think it's going to do just fine, along with probably a $50 price drop. And graphics, like you said, when you're doing a PS3 comparison, new games, a price cut, and graphics that look better than PS3 and 360. And that's probably exactly what we're going to get this holiday season.
Okay, but not better than PS4 and Xbox.
Well, of course it's not going to look better than the PS4 and Xbox. But see the difference, but see the difference here, this gen compared to the other gen, this is going to be the smallest leap, not in power, but the smallest leap in graphics going from a generation to a generation that we've ever seen. They're going to look...
No. You're absolutely wrong. I got to stop you there, man.
I'm wrong? It's not just me saying this. This is Crytek. This is everyone else.
No, you really not... No. I'm going to tell you right now. Unreal, Mark Wayne already said that this is the biggest leap he's ever seen. He's talking about in terms of performance. In terms of what me and you are going to see, no, it's not going to be. So you honestly think that it's going to be like going from a PS2 to PS3? You think the leap's going to be that big? Yes. Going
from like PS2 to PS3?
No, bigger than that.
Oh, I'm done. All right. Go ahead and ask that again. I started recording again since we had technical difficulties. So, so I said, so you think that the PlayStation 4 is going to, from the PS3, is going to be like going from the PS2 to the PS3?
Bigger than that. Hands down. I'm going to tell you why. The fact that PlayStation 4 is a lot more developer-friendly than the PS3 was, and you could get more out of it at a faster rate. And this is all been said. First of all, what they showed already with Deep Down, Drive Club, Killzone Shadow 4, the way that looked already, and that's not even done.
Yeah, what they showed of Deep Down, does that look like, do you think that's actually like real-time gameplay? Like I could see gameplay in engine, like, you know, like a cutscene.
They were playing Killzone Shadow 4, Jimmy.
No, I'm not talking about Killzone. I know Killzone's real-time. I'm talking about Deep Down.
Deep Down? Yeah, that's real time right there. That's the way this shit gonna look, son.
Okay, but you had brought up, well, before we had technical difficulties, you brought up
I know for a fact that Deep Down looks like that. Gameplay. Okay. I know for a fact it looks like that. Running in real time, it looks like that. I know that for a fact. I found this out when I was at PAX. These are questions that I already asked and got answers for. I just couldn't get too much detail because certain people under NDA and they refused to tell me certain things.
Yeah, because that Deep Down, of all the stuff that they showed, that Deep Down was the only one where I was like, dang, I'm not sure if that's real time. But but you said that before we got cut off, you brought up the Infiltrator demo. Now, there's a difference between something being a real-time demo and real-time gameplay. Like, I know you remember the Unreal Engine, the Samaritan demo?
The Samaritan demo?
Yeah, remember with the guy he's smoking the cigarette and he sees some guys attacking somebody down below, and it was a tech demo that
I just don't remember it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, now see, that was on Unreal Engine 3. Now, do you see any Unreal Engine 3 games that look anywhere remotely close to that? In fact, that crap looks better than what they're showing for Unreal Engine 4. It's a tech demo. Check that video out and see what I'm talking about. And be like, damn, this actually looks better than everything that they showed. And that's supposed to be Unreal Engine 3.9 or something. But it looks way better than their Unreal Engine 4 tech demos. Because it's a tech demo.
I'm telling you, man, the generation that's coming, listen, I wish I could, tell you,
well, don't tell me too much if you're not supposed to say, because this is on the video.
Killzone Shadowfall has been shown, it's been played.
Oh, no. I'm not saying, I know Killzone real time. I'm talking about deep down, and I'm talking about that infiltrating.
Alone, the scope. I mean, like.
Well, speaking of the scope, though. No. Speaking of the scope, you need to go in that video. See, because we nerds like this. We'll look at this stuff. You need to go. I know you guys seen that Killzone 4 video, and it looked like this epic scope. If you go and zoom in, it makes it look like you can go everywhere in that scene. False. You need to go to that video, zoom in on those freaking buildings. They look like GameCube buildings. There's no... they're so low poly, it's retarded. Like, you don't see it from far away, but you zoom in, looks terrible. That game isn't... They're using visual tricks. It's not as open-ended as it appears. But it is a very good-looking game. It's definitely real time.
I don't care if it's open world or not. I'm talking about what's on screen.
No. I don't mean open. I said open-ended, not open world. No, I'm saying like those buildings. They're like made of a few polygons. Is what I'm saying. Like it's fake trickery.
That's not the impression that I got when I looked at it.
You better go to those videos. Go to those videos and zoom in as close as you can. I'll try to send you a picture. Somebody send me a screen cap. Going as close as you can to those GameCube buildings. To those buildings, they look like they're out the GameCube. I'm serious. I'll send it to you later. Somebody's gonna have to send me that screen cap. Because I was same thing when I saw. I was like, dang, this game's way bigger than Killzone 3. And then they showed me that picture. I was like, oh, okay. But that's an amazing looking game. But still, that. Going from Killzone 3 to that is not like going from the PS2 to the PS3. Like, it's a big difference.
Wait, first of all, I'm going to say two things. One, the game isn't done yet. You know what I'm saying? And it already looks insane. That's one. Two, you're looking at launch titles. Like you know what I'm saying? Launch titles.
And there you go. What kind of titles are you looking at on the Wii U? Are those not launch titles?
Yeah.
Well, okay, if you admit that PS4 games will look way better, what makes you think Wii U games won't look way better?
I didn't say Wii U games won't look way better. What I'm saying is this. If you look at the Wii U, right, it came out in 2012. Right out the gate, it's supposed to look way better than PS3 and 360. Right out the gate, it's supposed to be looking way better. You came out in 2012, dog. What the hell was you doing during that time? PS4 and the next Xbox look way better than the fucking PS3 and 360. You can easily tell that this is a system that these systems can't hang with when it comes to fidelity. You don't get that with the Wii U. You didn't get that with the Wii U. You know what I'm saying? That's my problem. The Wii U came out in 2012. PS4 and Xbox coming out in 2013. So and the Wii U came out at the tail end of 2012.
So let me
2013. So roughly the Wii U is coming out around the same time PS4 and next Xbox did in terms of years.
No, it's coming out a year later. That's not the same time.
Huh?
No, it's coming out a year later. That's not the same time. But look, let me ask you this though.
I'm talking about okay, Xbox 360. All right. Let me say like this. Xbox 360 came out in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 4 was better than a lot of games on Wii U, son.
Which game?
That shouldn't happen, son.
What game?
Halo 4. Like, that shit was better than a lot of games on the Wii U. That should not happen, son.
Okay, see, now this is... See, now I'm about to take you back. This stuff happens at least the last couple generations. Now, I don't know how close you was following the gaming scene. Well, yeah, you were following the gaming scene before freaking 360 launch. Okay, now I know you remember all those articles of people saying, "Oh, Xbox 1.5." Oh, blah blah. You don't remember that? You don't remember people bashing the 360's graphics? You don't remember people making articles comparing the 360 to the original Xbox? You don't remember that? Because it happened a lot.
Yeah, when it came down to ports.
Well, what is on the Wii U? These are ports. You just brought up ports. Call of Duty, Batman. These are ports. What exclusive are you going to compare it to? Zombie U? Okay. I mean, New Super Mario Brothers, the new Super Mario series has always looked like crap on everything besides the DS. Even New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii looked terrible. It had terrible graphics even by Wii standards. We haven't seen the heavy hitters yet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When you guys see this new Mario, Metroid, Star Fox, whatever, you're gonna be like, damn, that thing is pretty powerful. That's what's gonna happen.
You know,
Same thing even happened with the Wii.
Check this out. When I'm talking about Black Ops 2 and stuff like that, I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean. When Xbox One had, I think, Hitman, and they brought it to the 360. 361 looked way better, hands down. High definition and all looked way better.
Wait,
hands down. Right?
Okay, and then there's games from the same company like Activision, like Gun. Gun looked the freaking same.
Listen, hear me out. When you look at SmackDown on Xbox One and PS2, and then you look at SmackDown on the 360 when it first came out that first year, it was no comparison. The 360 one looked way better, it was smoother, done deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is that Black Ops 2 on the Wii U isn't even the best version. That's scary. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's scary right there.
Have you played Black Ops 2 on the Wii U?
Yes, I did. Let me tell you how I did it. My homeboy Icon called me up, right? And he was like, yo, you gotta play the Wii U version because he got it, right? And he played the PSP version, but didn't play the 360 version. So when he said the Wii U version of Black Ops 2 was better than the PSP version, I'm like, whoa. So I'm like, if it's better than that one, it's probably better than the 360 one. Let me go out there and get the Black Ops on the Wii U. Went out there, got it, played it. After playing the 360 one, it was amazing. 360 still very better. But the Wii U version had slight frame rate drops that the 360 one didn't have. It made the 360 one much more smoother, which made the graphics have better fidelity. So that was my experience with it. And I took the Wii U version back and stuff like that.
Now, you're talking about the single player, you're talking about the online. Because there is no graphic, there's no performance hits online whatsoever. You must be talking about single player.
Yes, it is.
Huh?
I'm talking about single player. And yes,
I mean, who plays Call of Duty for the single player? Oh, okay. Well.
And truthfully, I have a better time with single player than online because I want to know the story. You get shit that you don't get there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a big online player anyway. You can look at my stats. I'm not a big online player. I like playing my stories out. We're moving on to the next game. I don't even play online that much.
Well, the majority of people play Call of Duty for the online. I mean, that's...
We gotta say, before all this online shit, it was always about the story before it even got there. Like, when Call of Duty first came out.
To tell you the truth, before the online thing, most people weren't first-person shooter fans. Like, before the multiplayer, like... I mean, I back in the N64, I mean, used to play like GoldenEye and Turok and stuff like that, but...
I don't really speak for me. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that, what's the name, in terms of what's going on now, like coming to the end of this argument and debate, coming towards the end right now, if I was Nintendo, I never would have put on the E3 conference. I don't care what I got to show or what I don't got to show. It's an image thing as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of those situations where, okay, like I am, and I said this in the video too, but we all know that Rock is like one of the biggest superstars on the face of the planet. You know what I'm saying? So everybody knows he's going to be at WrestleMania. Just like Undertaker, everybody knows he's going to be at WrestleMania. But if, let's say WrestleMania comes and you pull out of it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, or let's say the WWE decides not to have a WrestleMania one year, and you're hearing about them doing bad in the marketplace where they're not making as much money as they used to or whatever. Let's say you hear about it or something, and then they pull out of the WrestleMania, I'll have one. It's like, really? Like, you're not going to have a WrestleMania this year? That's something that's going to be questionable amongst everybody because it's like, what the hell's going on?
Well, let me ask you this.
It's image thing. Nothing even got to be wrong.
Well, let me ask you this.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
What if the tables were turned and Sony pulled out of a press conference? or didn't announce they weren't going to have one. What would you say to that?
It's the same shit. It's the dumbest move you can make. Dumbest move you can make. Because to me, it's like, even if you don't got nothing to show really, then I understand why. Because you want to be on a big stage and don't got anything to really compete with. I understand that.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But what makes you think, just because they're not having a big conference there, what makes you think they won't have their own big conference that could be even televised? Like, what makes you think they couldn't have a Nintendo Direct presented by NBC? What makes you think they couldn't do that?
I'm not saying that they couldn't do it, but the thing is, if they were going to do it, that would have been announced already. They wouldn't have.
This is Nintendo you're talking about. They announce stuff when they feel like it.
Okay.
They announce Nintendo Directs hours before they happen.
Okay.
But another thing, the last thing I wanted to touch on though, with people, they're saying that they think the Nintendo Direct E3 thing would be a bad idea because it's only online. They think only Nintendo people will watch it. But that's not true, because the same people that don't like Nintendo, they watch these Directs because they try to get ammo against Nintendo. But like I said before, the E3s did just fine the last, 20 years when they were broadcast only online. They just started being shown on TV the last few years. What is that, starting like 2008, 2009 or something? They did just fine, got the same media coverage when they were online only. So it being Nintendo Direct and online only isn't really going to affect the press much. They're still going to report.
How do you feel about, like, this is like my last question.
All right.
But how do you feel about Nintendo not having not having the strong third party support going into this generation with the Wii U? How do you feel about that?
Well, it depends on which company you're talking about. Ubisoft has been, every freaking new game they've been announcing for any system has been coming to the Wii U. EA really is the only big company that has a bunch of games not coming to the Wii U. If you look, people say, oh, well, BioShock Infinite and all these games that were in development for a long time, way before the Wii U was out, aren't coming to the Wii U. But, I mean, that kind of makes sense. I mean, if they're developing a game for 3 years and then they're pretty much almost done with it before they can even get a Wii U development kit, I mean, you can kind of see why they wouldn't release it on the Wii U. Now, if this coming year, if games that are announced, you guys notice that most of the games that have been announced, like last year and on, or the year before and on, are coming to the Wii U. Splinter Cell, the Assassin's Creeds, stuff like that. Those games are coming to the Wii U. The games that were announced 3 years ago aren't coming to the Wii U. Now, if going forward, we have a bunch of games that got announced last year or this year that still don't come to the Wii U, then we have a problem.
Okay. All right. That's my main thoughts on that. All right, well, I'm good, man.
All right.
Well,